Tonight, we are raising hell. And the movie is that,
Michael,
but flip-flop.
You can't say that in the beginning of the video.
I just want to give it away. You guys can click off now and do whatever you guys want. But I wouldn't, because this is a Let's movie, and it's awesome, and you're going to love it. Like and subscribe.
Yeah, we're raising Hellraisers. We're pregnant.
Yes, and it's going to be raising these kids. So, yeah, we're doing the Let's movie, so... Let's movie is, if your first one you're watching is this one, is we're going to be talking about spoilers, okay? We're going to be talking about the whole movie kind of filtered through our really bad memory. So...
First off, speak for yourself, big guy.
Well, the last one was kind of like, And the last one was Significant Other. You should check it out, though. We had a lot of fun.
Yeah, right up from the top, if you guys like what we're doing right now, interested in seeing more, let us know. It's kind of a lame thing to ask, but commenting, and subscribing to our channel does help out a ton. If you look at our other videos, you'll notice that a lot of videos have 0 views. I'm promising you right now, it is not because of a lack of quality. It's just is what it is, and so we've been not we don't advertise. That's what it is.
Yeah, and the only one that needs to really be watching us
is you, Dustin.
Is God.
Oh, well, hey, both. Dustin and God. Michael, let's start right into it. Hellraiser, the 2022 brand new movie right off the get-go.
Yeah, director David Buckner did this one. I don't know did he do any of the other films?
I don't know.
Okay,
that's a good question.
Well, that's we're not going to answer that. You could leave the answer in the comment section, because we're going right now.
I bet he didn't. I bet he's a new guy here.
So I'm gonna be honest. I've seen 1 and 2 Hellraiser. And I haven't really seen any of the other ones, because 1 and 2 are really good, and I just heard from the internet that it just gets worse after.
I would say 3 is where I really lost it. The 1, 2, and 3, you can kind of view those in a vacuum and be like, oh, they're movies of their time. First one's super good, second one was good, third one was eh. But then after that, I've seen them all. They're bad.
This guy's seen all the Hellraisers. He's seen all the Chuckies. You know how hard it is to watch some of the bad Chuckies, I bet?
I've seen all the Leprechaun movies.
All right, that's a whole new bag of crap.
Actually, you want to see the lowest bag of crap? Comment on this one. I've seen all the Puppet Master movies.
Puppet Master's cool, man. Stop motion.
Don't lie to yourself, Michael.
Puppet Master's cool, dude.
That was cool, man.
I think Leprechaun's worse.
No, I love this movie. When we open up, we immediately see a guy. His name's Joey. Mm-hmm. Joey's our opening character. Don't love him too much. He's not going to stay long. He's walking through this party, and I love Joey because he comes off as this very soft, kind of a little awkward, not a real good. He doesn't really communicate very well, but he's straight up in an orgy drug den in a rich dude's mansion. I want to know the story of how Joey got here.
He's just like this. He's biting his lip too, looking all sexy like Joey does. And he's just walking through, and he sits down at the
Joey
bar.
Wheeler.
Yeah. So he seems very not part of this crowd, but he's here for a reason.
And then he strikes up a conversation, she struck up a conversation with her, our next character, a cougar at best. What was her name?
Menaker, I guess. It was never said, but as a director, you got to just have all your characters' names. It's like, I can't just have this person be here and not have a name. But her name is apparently Menaker.
It's a bad name.
Yeah, and she's just there. I think he answered to some Craigslist thing.
Yeah.
That
kind of continued on, because basically she was like, hey, I work for the guy who owns this place. He might be interested in meeting you. Maybe she got a sense that he was there by himself. And Joey's kind of let's meet a stranger.
I think maybe Joey has some effed up taste or something, and the list or the call, or he answered to whatever was online. It was like, hey, if you want to explore pleasures beyond your imagination, come here and do this. And he's like,
yeah, and he's just rock solid reading. Yeah. He's like, yes,
I want that. I want me. Joey wants that.
Yeah. So he goes into another room, and we get our first scene of the box, which was really kind of sweet. And then I don't know if you know this, but the character who's going to be kind of our one of our main antagonists of the movie, Vought is his
Voight?
last Voight is his last name, but they refer to him like that for the rest of the movie mostly. He comes in. He sounds exactly like Liam Neeson from Wanted.
Oh yeah, I did not notice it.
The way his opening line reads like a Liam Neeson line from Wanted.
He was giving me like Dos Equis vibes.
But Dos Equis and guy and Liam Neeson are like
They're pretty close.
same people from different continents or countries, depending on where Liam Neeson's from. I don't know where he's not from America.
No, he's not.
So
and he just comes out of nowhere. He kind of scares Joey. Joey's like looking at all these. There's like artifacts that are on. It's like a little art show piece, and above, in this magnificent room, this guy's rich, loaded, is this sort of geometric, beautifully shaped glass fixture in the ceiling. Lets all the moonlight in. We find out what that's for later. But in the middle of it, like Alex said, is the box.
I love how Joey just comes and grabs it.
Did he?
He walks up right into this room and he's picking it up, and Voight. We're gonna say Voight. I'm just gonna say Voight for the rest of the movie.
Okay.
He walks up and he's like already holding one of his art pieces, and he's like, "What are you looking at?" And Joey's like, "Oh, there's a no-touch facility."
He's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry," and he's like, "Don't be."
You know what? You keep doing what you do, my guy.
And he's just interested in it and starts explaining.
It's a puzzle box. It's in, if you open it, he's like, "Do I get a prize when I open it?" And the guy's like, well, "I get a prize if you open it." And he kind of gets the hang of it. And when he brings the box together, it stabs him right in the hand, like right through the palm of the old hand right here. Mm-hmm. He kind of tries to get away, but our guy here has set up the entire building with like these switches. He flips a switch, the gates close him into the room, and then he kind of starts he's like drugged out a little bit. Mm-hmm. Joey is. He kind of falls over, and
this is when the dimensions are fusing together.
Yes, yeah. You kind of see hear like this like cement door sliding in the background, and like a light shine in, and Joey immediately starts getting kind of like attacked by these chains and hooks. Big theme for the movie, all the movies, but off screen. You don't see anything really.
Yeah, we're focused on Voight, who's just like meticulously looking at this device, like yes.
Yeah, because as they're doing the box is like shifting itself. Very cool. I did think it was like kind of funny where like Joey's on the ground, he's like holding on from getting dragged into like this off-screen place, and you just hear me like the pain. And I'm like, oh,
Joey doesn't like. Just getting beat up.
I was like, first off, if I'm getting hooked, I'm not gonna be like the pain. I'm like, fuck.
You say fuck? I don't even know what I would do. Yeah, I might just say fuck.
I would be screaming, cussing out, but I definitely would be like the pain. Oh, like Joey.
The utter agony.
I can feel it in my soul.
Yeah, so that's our opening scene, and it just goes the Hellraiser theme, Stranger Things font, basically.
Yeah, we basically ended with our main character Voight summoning, like appealing to a god named Leviathan, and then we have that cut, and we actually have a really cool scene right here where, and I like this a lot actually. The screams of Joey ring in the distance, and as we transition to the next scene, they take Joey's like moans of pain, and then it transitions into our main character and one of our other main characters, their moans of pleasure.
Yeah. Which
is such a funny thing because the whole movie is like in the sound bites are like the pleasure to pain. Everyone's looking for these sensations. I thought that was kind of like a fun little. I don't know if it was like intentional.
Yeah, it was intentional. Because I caught that because it was in between the start of the title drop of the movie and after it. So it's like
I don't know if thematically that they were aiming for that. I bet they were. I bet that was like they're like, oh yeah, write this fucking thing down, write this idea down. And then our main character Riley, Odessa. I think it's like Odessa.
Azizan or whatever.
I'll tell you what. I thought Riley. It was insufferable. However, that just means that the Odessa, because I'm not really familiar with anything else that she's been in or any of her previous work, she killed it. Yeah. I think she did a really good job like acting her role out, because the entire time I'm just like,
stop.
God!
Stop it.
just slow down, Riley, for 3 seconds and think about this, please. And as they finish up, they walk out, and of course, who else is there but Riley's brother, Riley's boyfriend, or Riley's brother's boyfriend,
yeah.
Matt.
So
Matt and Colin.
Yep, Matt and Colin.
First off, Colin's a boy.
Yeah,
I loved Colin in this entire movie. I liked the actor who played Colin. I thought he was such a joy to have on screen.
Yeah, all right. I like Matt.
Matt was cool, but like Matt, we didn't get to know Matt too much. Spoiler alert, baby.
Yeah, Matt is Riley's brother.
And then Nora, Matt's roommate. Very awkward little first meeting for Matt and Trevor. But Trevor kind of bows out gracefully when because he said "I love you" while having sex, and obviously Riley was not ready for that. So they he read the room, got the hint from Riley, pieced out, said he had a job to do, and left.
They walked out after that sex thing, but I guess her brother and his boyfriend were just sitting in the room quietly while hearing them.
From what I could tell, by just kind of looking at the layout of the apartment that they were in, Riley's bedroom is right next to the wall where the fridge and the stove is at. And they were in the kitchen making dinner. They were making tacos. So, like, they were all right in the room that's next to the wall where Riley is having sex. So, like, I kind of get why they would hear it.
So they were making dinner, and they were eating dinner.
Hey, white people taco night.
Eating that good, that fish taco.
Yeah, real tacos. They enjoyed their taco night. There was a nice little transition to after the fact. And Riley and Trevor are, not Trevor, but Matt, are having a conversation where Matt doesn't really like Trevor. Matt kind of was like, what kind of dude would hook up with a guy from a 12-step program? Which, a little judgy, Matt. That's a little much, but you can tell that he's coming from a place of good heart.
Yeah, concern.
Because even the next scene after Matt is basically like talking down to Riley about like, I don't like this guy. Riley said, sure, I won't see him again. The next day, obviously, Riley's hanging out with Trevor.
In his huge loft.
Yeah, and Riley even says was like, hey, he's right. I know he's right, but that makes me more mad that he's right. You aren't the best for me. I should be looking for a better job. I should be doing all these things.
Then Trevor's just like, well, I do have this thing that I
got a job for you, baby.
I got a job. And it's this...
Michael, get off of it.
What? No, Riley needs to get off it. Anyways, we're going to move on from this. I'm never going to speak of it again. Just Trevor's so handsome, guys. All right, I said it. Trevor's handsome. All right, I'm sorry.
Good looking dude.
Machine Gun Kelly vibes. I'm here for it.
He wishes.
What?
Machine Gun Kelly wishes.
But
Michael made a good point. Huge. This guy's got a $1 million loft.
Yeah, so I don't.
This is fucking huge.
Never question where his wealth comes from. But anyways, he's like, I got something we can do, but I don't think you would be interested in. It's like, okay. What do you do?
Let me get my little Matt off the old shoulder here.
So he basically proposes a job, an odd job that's pretty sketch, probably has some criminal stuff going on with it, and she agrees.
Well, obviously criminal because they're breaking and entering.
Yeah.
But basically the job was, I don't know, this guy left the container. But they never took the container. It's been there for months. No one's touched it. It's still in this warehouse by itself. I know the key code to get into the place. Let's rob it.
Yeah, there's probably jewels and stuff. Let's go get it.
I was like, yeah, set out, dog.
Yes. So that's where we go. We head to them at night, going to this whatever storage unit facility or whatever whatever you call them, containers.
Yeah, it was such a dumb fucking plan too, because they literally are just like
what did they bring?
They brought like a hammer and themselves. Because let's
get this bread.
It was just they pulled up, middle of the night's raining. Riley throws back some alcohol, breaking that 6-month sobriety right on the spot. But a thing to note, Trevor constantly is drinking around Riley. So there's always this kind of this weird part of Trevor that's like really supportive of her being like sober. And actually, not supportive of her being sober, but her staying away from pills and talking to her in kind of like a way that someone would do at a meeting. but at the same time, kind of not caring about how what he's doing affects her, which I think is a good thing for his whole character.
Yeah.
They break in, they find a safe. Obviously, they don't know the fucking combination, so they just slam on it with a hammer for however long until Trevor can't do it anymore, and then Riley's like, "All right, I'm up."
And she gets it pretty quickly. To be honest, I don't know what
Trevor loosened the gears,
Yeah.
I'm sure.
So she gets on in,
Just
and
a shitty box. I don't know.
yeah, maybe something. And she opens it, and lo and behold, our little puzzle box is there.
Puzzle box is in there. You know what? I'll tell you what. Every time I see the movie, no matter how bad the movie is, the puzzle box is such a kind of like a weirdly iconic, cool
Prop
piece, a pop. Yeah. Like every time it's on, it's in the scene. You're just like, you can't help but be like, damn, that's cool.
It is a cool device to be the vessel for horror.
Yep.
It's cool. Iconic thing. So she grabs it and she's like, "Whoa, what is this?" It's like, and Trevor's like, "Darn it, what is this? This is not what we wanted." Oh,
well, first off, he wasn't that cheesy about it, but yeah, he basically was like, "Oh, I thought there'd be like jewels and shit in here," and he's like, "Well, you know," Riley offers like, "Hey, I'll take it from you," and he's like, "Okay, you can hold on to it while I find somebody to get it appraised," and then. We cut to Matt and Colin laying in bed doing poetry Jeopardy with each other after sex. After sex poetry Jeopardy.
Is that what they're doing?
Yeah, they're laying there in a very sensual way. They're topless. I think either reciting poetry or it was a clippet of an author where Colin was monologuing from a book and Matt was trying to guess the author.
That's what gay people do in the bedroom instead of straight people. We know what straight people do in the bedroom from the earlier movie.
They're just so much classier than us. After sex is like, let's break out the literature, baby.
Yeah, that's exactly what happens.
And I just break out the cured meats.
Meat, babe? Want meat? All right, whatever.
Just salami cutting on the side of the bed.
It'd be funny if you got like a cutting board that just went shing out of the a Swiss Army knife out of the bed.
It pulls out of my side dresser, and I just open up a drawer, pull out like 4 things of salami. Cheese? Okay.
Anyway, so that's happening. They're wonderful people.
Riley comes home. Obviously, Matt knows that she's in drinking. Calls it out on her right away. Yeah. And a fight ensues.
Yeah, pretty rough one too.
Yeah, what's that?
She's just not having it anymore, and she thought. I think he questioned whether or not she was on pills too, but she didn't. So there was a marriage of her doing something she shouldn't, but not to the extent of what he's saying it, and he's overbearingly being worried, but he should still be worried about it.
His level of parental acts towards her kind of all boils to the point of him being like, I want you out. I was like, I can't keep covering rent for you while you go out and you're doing all these things that you know you shouldn't be doing. You know, you're spiraling, and if you want to play games, you're going to lose.
And she's just like, then just say it! Just say it!
And he did.
Get the heck out!
And he was like, no, you get the fuck out of my house! I was like, Matt, brother!
There you go, you just dropped the ball.
Chill, daddy. Chill.
So Riley's like, okay, I'm gone. And then she gets her stuff, starts leaving, and the boyfriend, Matt's boyfriend, Colin, was waiting out there, just chilling.
Don't go, Riley.
Oh, this is not serious. Don't go right now. Things will be better in the morning. So she runs off, and she's just like, oh man, she's in this, sort of mental state that's not healthy. She gets out her pills, and she's like, I don't need these. Dumps them into the street before getting into her car. But she ruins her car too.
Breaks her own freaking side mirror.
Yeah, she's on a rampage right now. But then she decides not to take the pills for a moment. And then they seep into the cobblestone. She's like, I kind of want to get high right now.
Yeah, she grabs 1 or 2 of them and pops them.
I would have stayed. If I was going to get more, I would have just stayed there and meticulously picked them out of the thing. I was like, those are drugs that are going in me right now.
Yeah, you know what's super funny about the whole thing? Originally, when I was watching it, I thought she was just going to pop the pills and go sleep in her car. I was like, man, I need to pop a pill to sleep in my fucking car nowadays, too.
Yeah, right.
My old ass body crumpled in my backseat. I just need to be high for this right now.
Yeah, I can see that.
She goes to a park and is kind of before her pills kind of start taking effect, she finds herself fiddling around with the puzzle box.
What else are you gonna do? You're high. You have this ridiculously like steampunky box thing. Yeah, you're coming
not
in.
quite yet. She's coming into it.
You're getting ready.
She starts. First off, the one thing I laughed about this is, guys, when you watch this movie, Riley does something that should be a number one rule for everyone in their entire life. So if you're watching this right now, remember this one rule: never, ever, ever, ever stick your finger in a dark, mysterious hole in anything. If you're not sure where you're going right now, don't be putting your finger in it. She sticks her hand in this dark hole in this box that she found in some safe, locked away. What is she? That was just idiotic. For all she know, that could have been anything in there.
Alex, I think that's like the smartest thing you've ever freaking said, dude. Don't stick your finger in a mysterious black hole.
Do not stick your fingers in mysterious black holes, okay? If you need to...
If there's anything you take away from this...
Should have had a flashlight.
Should have had a flashlight first, little tiny... So she sticks her finger in the hole, and then it sets off the mechanism, and it just opens up a little bit. Oh, but there's no blade yet.
Yeah. She finalizes the puzzle, slams it together, avoids getting stabbed in the hand, which in this movie is the big part of it. It's part of the deal sealer. The box will hunt down people who get cut by the blade. Yeah.
Blood needs to seep into the device, and it is like signing your thing in blood. Your name in blood.
Because nothing was given.
Yeah.
And Riley passed out from her drug-induced sleep, basically. She has a dream of the Cenobites calling to her, saying that you need to sacrifice to this box, if not you, someone else.
Yeah. She's like, what?
I love the whole, like, they did this thing where they had like no,
she flies back.
They have like this, like, as like the Cenobites are talking to Riley, blood starts showing up in a circle around her chest, and these marks, and then like it
punches
away, and it's like a darkness inside of her, and these chains come out and hook Matt, and there's this weird slow motion. I loved it. What a cool scene.
Yeah, it was a cool way.
Super cool.
It's almost like the Cenobites kind of jump started the process of people being fed to this device by waking up a significant other of hers out of sleep to like want to go find her and be around this puzzle box.
It was like they were connected. Like the Cenobites used the fact that they were like both asleep to like connect the two, in a way, for like, because like that immediately woke Matt up, and Matt was like kind of like shaking from this dream. Colin, being the warm presence that he is, like, baby, you good? Right. And he's like, I gotta find Riley.
You know what? You do you.
And,
I believe in you.
And he was like, well, we should call her. And he's like, no, she won't answer. So he gets up. And this part I did kind of like...
Just call her for a second.
Well, no, I just thought to myself, first off, if I was with my significant other and something happened like that, I would never let my significant other roam the streets at night by themselves.
Yeah, because I'm not going to go back to sleep.
Yeah, I would.
I'm not gonna go back to
the
sleep,
fact that Colin wasn't there was like, all right, whatever. Little plot set up. They kind of little lack of awareness maybe to kind of like set up the scene. Yeah. Matt goes in, sees Riley passed out, immediately afraid that she's ODing. What did you take? Didn't notice the big knife out of the big box in her hand. Again, little weird. Mm-hmm. If I'm running up and I'm like running into a room, if there's something pointy, I'm like immediately like pointy. Like I'm aware of it. And she was like laying down with the box open in her hand like this. So like it was front and center. So, but either way, he cuts his hand on it and wakes up Riley. And Riley's like, what happened to your hand? He's like, don't worry about it, you know? And that's when things start happening.
Yeah, he needs to go to the bathroom to wash off the blood on his hand. And it's the public restroom. Because they're at this like little playground area. And he starts to wash it off. And he's looking into the mirror. And things start to get a little bit trippy. Another
sweet freaking transition in this movie where they do this thing with the Cenobites and like the kind of like where they come from and like how they enter in the world, where like there'll be just like a wall will just push back, shift left, and like another world will almost like come forward out of like the shifting walls in the earth. It's such a wild like way they did it. Yeah. And you see Matt get attacked and basically while this is all happening, Riley's sitting out and watching like the box transform.
Whoa.
It's like, Autobox, roll out!
Matt, this is cool!
Matt, you gotta see this! It's dancing! And then Matt's just like in the background. Riley runs
The
in.
pain!
The pain! And Riley comes in and Matt's gone. Except for a bloody sink, gone.
Mm-hmm.
Smartest move that Riley's done all movie, calls the cops.
Yeah. And they're there in a heartbeat. They're responding to this thing. Nobody knows what's going on, so it's a mystery that happens. And the only thing connecting to what could have happened is this box and the vision she had. So,
Yep.
so we go to the next day where
Yep.
she goes to see Trevor.
Trevor again, yep. Again, he walk in, you're like, God damn, this guy's rich.
Rich and ripped and...
Yeah, he's got like one of those like really industrial, ultra modern lofts with like pinball machines. It's you know what's the type that rich? It's that type of rich person that has too much money and then buys a place that doesn't look nice, but it's like rich, not nice.
Well, it's not nice in the fact that they don't really have taste. It was expensive and they just...
It's like the guy who buys $150 pair of jeans that are made to look worn.
Yeah.
Right? Same concept.
So she's telling Trevor about what happened, and she's basically just puking up her feelings truthfully. And Trevor, surprisingly enough, is contradicting all other horror movies up to this point. You think? And he's like, "I believe you."
He kind of not like.
I thought he like for sure is like, "I believe what you're saying."
I think that
we should not mess with that.
That's where like I kind of when I was watching it, because Trevor does this thing when he talks. Is that a lot of times he tries to talk to Riley in a way that is indicative of somebody who's talking to somebody who's going through like steps, the 12 steps, right? Or like some sort of a program where versus trying to downplay Riley's experiences, he was like, I believe that what you're saying is true. Like, I believe you because, you're trying to get this person to a spot of being calm. But I did love the fact where he's like, I ain't touching that fucking box. What the fuck?
There's a hair. Just
she's like, hold it. He's like, hey, bitch.
No. You freaked me out with that story.
Yeah. You want me to touch the box that you said ate your brother? No.
Ever since he touched it and got cut by it. So yeah, he's very reluctant to mess with it, but he's like, hey, we should probably not do this.
Yeah, Riley kind of grows him a little bit. Where was that box from? Who owned that crate? And Trevor didn't really know. But with a little bit of Googling, they were able to find out that the box...
The container
the container in the shipment was owned by a woman. And what was her name? Was like Manicure. And it's like the only person with that name is in this like facility. So they go and drive this facility to talk to this woman.
A nursing home situation?
It wasn't a nursing home. She said that her lungs, the character was like, hey, my lungs are rotting from the inside out. She's got some like real terrible asthma or something. She's got like the old oxygen mask, and Riley kind of was like, hey, puts it on the table. She's like, this dude was evil. He was depraved. The best thing I ever did was put off his stuff for rest. And it's the last thing I'll ever do for that man. Really, they don't really explain why she's sick at all. Like that's like one thing that like I don't understand where that came from or why.
Well, she was a partier. She's a partier. She was at weird, sketchy parties. Because this is the same character that was in the nightclub that fed Joey to Voight.
Yes. Well, yeah. Like I just the whole like my lungs are rotting from the inside out. I never understood that part. They never really said like where if that was like she was just sick or
not everything has to connect to something grander.
It doesn't have to connect, but
it's
like
just her situation.
I thought it was funny that they weren't just like, oh, I like have lung cancer or something, like just to say what's happening here.
I guess. So she's explaining her situation. It's like, hey, well, have you ever seen this? Holds out the box like close to her face. Have you ever seen this? Whoa!
Sets it on the table for a little bit. Like, where'd you get this?
And she recognizes it, and you can see that it brings up something in her. Obviously, she knows what it is. She's like, "Where did you get that?" And like the whole thing of like, "Don't do anything with that." She knows exactly what it means. It's like, but it took my brother. I need to find out.
Trevor walks out at this point too. Trevor like walks out like, "Hey, we got to get out of here. I don't want to be a part of this anymore." And I think the woman was like having like an asthma attack, and he went to go get help.
Okay.
And because that's when the whole fight ensues between
Wasn't
Riley.
it a fake asthma attack to get him out of the room?
I think it was because
then as soon as
it definitely kind of felt like she was hamming it up a little bit, because as soon as she left, the chick basically grabbed the box like, hey, you can't have this. I'm gonna get rid of this. This should be nowhere near anyone, which is the right decision. Riley is like, no, give it back. And a fight ensues, and it ends with
a struggle. And I'm just going like, mine, no mine, no mine, no mine.
And because the fact that like a part of the configuration is that it wants to be solved. It's a puzzle box, but it's not a hard puzzle box. It's a very easy puzzle box because there's like a supernatural thing where it wants to be solved. And during this struggle, it was solved. A knife comes out, stabs her.
I just wonder how it was solved though, because they were like struggling. Like, don't they go, mine, mine, mine?
Yeah, it's like in the final fight of Naruto Shippuden, where like Sasuke and Naruto are fighting, and Sasuke's like using Naruto's hands to make like hand symbols. You're like, Jesus.
Oh God.
It was cool.
So yeah, she gets stabbed. So she knows her fate.
And they like Riley and Trevor are like, we got to get the hell out of here.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, they called in the help. The help gets there. They get out of there.
They're not gonna be much help from now on.
And first off, again, I'm gonna call them out. Obviously, when somebody gets stabbed, the Cenobites are rolling and they're right behind them. Basically, they roll her into a new room. She's having like an asthma attack while bleeding from the hand. They couldn't figure out what's causing all this to happen or why she's so loopy, because the box is like when you get stabbed, I'd almost like it, like you kind of get like this euphoric like dizziness to you.
It's almost like your brain's being split apart to exist in both realms.
They did not have to kill the asthmatic woman with the wheezy Cenobite. That's so effed up. That is so fucked up. They're like the woman's like, and then the Cenobite walks in, like
lung cancer.
Been there before. All right, into hell you go.
But it's gonna be pleasurable, I promise.
And the one girl was like, "Save your breath for the screams," and I'm like,
yeah. But again, there's a cool transition thing. It's almost like it's
this movie's
almost
full
like
of them.
two ships passing in the night. I'm just like dreamy, like transitioning. That it's almost like if you're not paying attention, you wouldn't know that the scene's changing.
Yeah, I think that's like one thing that I really like about this movie is they had so many just stylistically the way they did the Cenobites and their entrances and exits and the way they look.
You like the Cenobite designs?
I will get into the Cenobite designs and what I feel about them at the end of the movie.
Okay.
Just because I have a lot to say about that actually.
All right. So she gets eaten up by the box, and then we go to Trevor and Riley driving away from that and just talking about, it's coming from Voight.
Yeah, and it really, like, there's a couple scenes here with Riley and Trevor kind of talking about the situation, where like Riley kind of talks down to Trevor because Trevor's trying to talk to her like she's in a program, but like the whole thing is like Riley is manic for most of this movie, just like, you know, making decisions without really thinking about them, kind of just running through scenarios. Where like really Riley just needed to slow it down. If she could have just, I feel like if her character would have slowed down for a second, she would have been like, "What am I fucking doing right now?"
I feel like she's just constantly having the box like forward. It's like, "Oh, somebody needs to help me with this box. I want to touch it, please."
Yeah, no, it was just kind of like, just
a little bit much.
Yeah, exactly.
So they're doing that, but you know what's a pretty big hole? Is the fact that Trevor, when he talked about the job to begin with, he's like, I know this person, this rich guy owns this container, and I know the code to it.
Some rich guys own this.
Rich guys?
He did. Yeah, he didn't say that he knew of a specific person, just that like this was somebody's estate. And like he would do deliveries, you know, back and forth from the place, so he didn't really know him. Yeah, so the next part of the movie, they go and they're kind of like doing more research, like who's this Vought guy or whatever, Voight. They kind of figure out, oh hey, this is where the guy lived. Here's all like the scenario, like the claims against him and all these things, cultist stuff, kidnappings, sexual stuff,
sex parties,
and she's like, we need to go to this guy's house, and Trevor's like, what?
No.
Like, it's just like straight like, no, we're not. Colin calls and is like, hey, you need to come home. I don't know what the fuck to do. Matt would know, but I don't. We need to do something here. And
I feel like there'd be enough of the past of this puzzle box influence and like mark that it's left on just society up to this point that she'd be able to look up the puzzle box itself, murderous puzzle box, and find something online to explain what's going on.
Yeah. You would think. But while this conversation is happening, Trevor's like, grabs the box, goes to leave, and is like, I'm getting rid of this thing. And Riley's just like, I thought you believed in me! I trusted you! And he's like, you're gonna get yourself killed! Everyone that gets cut by this box is dead!
I do believe in you! That's why we need to
point! I believe so much in you, we gotta throw this shit in the lake!
It's almost like she's just like, Riley's just full of emotions, and she doesn't have no logic inside that head of hers.
Yeah, that's the thing, she's manic.
Yeah.
Just at all points, like she's just making claims. She's yelling, she's thinking, she's not thinking about what she's doing. Mm-hmm. She gets that box away from him and basically just deuces out and goes to this dude's mansion.
But then he decides, he's like, well, I gotta go with you. I'm not gonna just let you go by yourself. Right?
No.
I thought Trevor went with her and
eventually
Nora.
That happens.
Okay.
So what ends up happening is that Riley gets to the place, the mansion, and it's like surrounded by this huge like intricate gate that's really reminiscent of the box. And
I'm at the right place.
Yeah, well, this seems right. She sneaks in through like a little hole in the ground by like an open basement window, gets in, starts exploring, and she starts learning all this different stuff about the box, the history of the box, where it came from, what it's all about, that this guy kept in his house. And that's when they really start expanding on the lore of this movie, and like in ways that they didn't do in the originals. In the original, there were like one or two different forms of the box, but it was all just the same thing, right? Whoever opened it got killed by the Cenobites. That's it. But in this one, they have like these 6 different forms. There was, I got them all written down here. It's the Lament configuration, which is life, the Lore configuration, which is knowledge, the Laudorant configuration, which is love, the Luminal, which is sensation, Lazarus, resurrection, and Leviathan, power. And basically the way that this new one works is that if you sacrifice enough people to it, you get an audience with a god. And that god allows you to choose from one of those 6 options as a wish. What is your desire? And they find your desire, they fit it into one of those styles, basically.
I'm just thinking, as a creator of this thing, all these like different avenues you could take your wish to become. Once you get an audience, you can choose between lament, lore, all that stuff. It's like how much can you mold this stuff, like knowledge, life, and stuff, but also combine it with like your ball sack getting ripped up, like your ball sack slip.
Yeah.
You've chosen knowledge, and it's just like, my balls!
It'd probably be more like, my brain is growing to immense sizes that my skull is fracturing by the second, but I can't die.
I know a lot though.
Yeah,
I know a lot.
And that's the thing, basically. Obviously, it's a monkey paw situation. No one is surviving this situation, which is probably why there's nothing online about it, because even if you do successfully solve the puzzle, you're fucked. Like, there ain't no win there. There's no like...
There's like an anti-wish. Is this opposite day, God? I would like the opposite of what you want to give me.
Yeah. But she passes out, and she awakes, and there is our crew, the body count, as I'm going to call them for now on.
Got Trevor, Nora, and Matt's boyfriend,
Colin.
And they're all there, supportive.
They're here to be good friends, man. I don't know what to tell you.
Are you still manic? Wake up. Get away from me! Where's my box?
They start being like, hey, what's going on? Colin pulls Riley away. It's like, hey, what's going on? Talk to me. Tell me what's happening here. Colin's very supportive of the whole thing. Like, hey, I believe you. I just don't believe all of this. Which is good talk. You're reinforcing their feelings. It is, because it's like I believe that what you believe is happening. I believe that you are feeling strongly about this and you're freaking out about it. But let's try and take a step back and look at what you're saying.
Or she's just like, here, let me just prove it to you. I'm gonna cut myself right now, and nothing's gonna happen. Whoa, chains!
Yes. Again, Nora and Trevor kind of by themselves. While this all happening, Trevor is like, well, I'm gonna have a drink, and like, what's your drink of choice, ma'am? And Nora, who is a good friend, is like, we don't drink around Riley. What the are you doing? She's a recovering addict. He's just like, oh, I guess I'll go drink in the bathroom. And
I just don't drink.
And at this moment, you're
Just
like,
drink.
at this moment, you look at Nora, you're like, oh, you're gonna die, so bad.
Yep, you're gonna be the first.
And Nora's exploring the more switches in the wall that the previous owner had kind of installed, and she finds a secret doorway.
Yeah, because behind this bar, there's a bunch of buttons, and she starts playing around with them. One plays really loud music, and she's like, "Oh, sorry," and she keeps doing it. And yes, one of them opens up. It's like this swivel bookcase thing. Opens up. Secret door. She enters.
She go and
why not?
Closes behind her, and then there's this kind of this really creepy scene of Nora trying to get Trevor to find the switch. Trevor's having a hard time finding the switch, and when it's happening, a man charges Nora down in a real Igor type situation. Stabs her in the back with the lament configuration. Actually, I don't know if it's the lament configuration, just the box.
So wait, yeah, because that's what we forgot. It was missing. They didn't know where it was.
Yeah,
they woke up. It's like, where's the box?
Yeah, they couldn't find the box because Riley tried to show it to him to prove it. Which at this point, Riley should have known it was a monkey paw situation. She read all that lore. She should have known.
She doesn't know what monkey paw means. She knows pills and alcohol, and she knows emotions. Party.
So actually, at this point, what is it? It's probably the love configuration. Nora gets stabbed in the back, runs away. Everyone's freaking out. What's happening? What's going on? And they pull it out, and she's like, Riley's like, no, don't do it. There's a knife in there. Colin rips it off. She's bleeding from the back. It's a nightmare. And I think at one point, Trevor's like, fuck this. We are leaving here right now. Everyone get to the van. Which I loved. He was just like, we gotta go. This is done here.
I don't know why this keeps happening. So yeah, she gets stabbed, and then what? I forget how the Cenobites come for her.
Well, essentially, the Cenobites are, they're kind of above the whole worldly distances, travel. They can kind of play a little bit of fuckery here. They load up Nora into the car, and they're having a hard time finding the way out. It's like a maze just to get in here. And Nora looks out the window and sees the world is shifting, and the
Doing
back
its
door
thing.
of the car disappears, and
Oh yeah, they're in the car.
it is kind of this cool thing that before that happens and they're driving around, you can see the Cenobites trying to keep up with them, and the ground will lower down from the come out, and then they just drive past it. So eventually the Cenobites are like, F this, we're just gonna open up the car door. And I think what is it? At that point, that was when I think that this was when it happened, was that she essentially gets ripped out of the car physically, or it's kind of hard to tell because there's a scene where the Cenobites pull her out, but she's not really gone yet. It's weird.
Was the redness of the brake lights of the back of the car? It became this weird vision of it as an open doorway to the back of the car, and that it was this illusion of there being no car to interfere with her being pulled out anymore, and she was pulled out from the chains, and she basically disappeared from the trunk, she was gone at that point.
Yeah, and then there's this super freaking sweet scene where like Nora is hanging in like a super uncomfortable position, surrounded by Cenobites. And
she's got her hooked on her big toe. This big toe.
Just the one.
Just the one big toe. Ah!
No, she's hanging like 5 of them. She's
The
like,
pain!
she's like crying, and she starts praying. And Pinhead, who again, I want to look this up real quick. The priest, Jamie Clayton, is who played her. Jamie,
That's cool.
I hope that they bring you back.
Yeah.
You killed this. She starts talking, and she's like, she's like, what do you pray for? Nora says salvation, and she replies with the hardest fucking line in like that I've heard in a very long time. She's like, and what would that even feel like? And then she starts going on like this monologue about how happiness is a joyful note that ends, and it's this whole thing. And I'm like, damn, I'm feeling it right now. I'm feeling the seriousness of it.
I would love to have a conversation with the Cenobite without the fear of it getting to be more than just a conversation, you know?
Just kill me, okay? Just kill me.
I can see where this is going. Just do it.
And then the Cenobiter, which is what I call them. They call them, I think,
Chattering.
the Chatterer, they probably call him, or something like that. I call him the Cenobiter because, funny, rips her head off. And at that moment, they crash the car because they realize Nora's not there. They see her body get like ripped out. I mean, they're effed.
Nora just sees the Chatterer. Is like, oh my god, his teeth is chattering. He's gonna eat me. He's gonna chatter me.
He's gonna chatter me. No!
Rips her. Oh no, he didn't chatter me. He just ripped my head off.
Yeah. So then the Cenobiters are on foot, or the Cenobites are on foot, and they're like running around. They try and make it back to the place, but Riley kind of separates herself, and she finds herself like kind of like trying to like go through the motions of like what just happened. She goes to throw the box away, and the priest Pinhead shows up and is like, hey, I wouldn't do that if I were you. She like tricks her and stabs her. It's like, it's either you die or you feed us souls, whichever one you want.
At that point, I think Riley should just been like, just kill me. You know?
Yeah, self-preservation probably kicked in, which is like, well, I guess I'm here.
I've been stabbing people with the box all day, and I just don't want to be the one that dies anymore.
Yeah, and
shut up.
And they start running around. The Cenobites are chasing them, basically. Colin falls. Oh, I'm so mad. Drops his glasses again.
The Chatterer's chasing them specifically.
Yes, and like, here's what I'm gonna say right now. People with glasses, this is for you. We all know that if we fall and we drop our glasses and it's a life or death situation, we are not going to stop there and look for our glasses. We are not Velma. This is not Scooby-Doo. This isn't, where did they go? It's, I would rather run
right into a tree.
I would rather run blind and try and chase down a couple blurs that I think are my friends than just stop there and be like, it's not happening.
Poor Alex. He doesn't realize that when you take glasses off of a person that has pretty bad vision, they just automatically just start running in circles. It's just a weird phenomenon.
I have very, very bad vision, but when you lose your glasses, you do not become blind. You just can't make out any details. But like if I'm standing 5 feet and I know my friends are 5 feet ahead of me and I don't have my glasses on, though I don't know what they look like, I can still see the shape of them. So like, Colin, let's go, bud. Yeah. Get it together. But the Cenobiter,
they were Versace
just
glasses.
walks past him basically, because he's not hunting. He's not hunting for Colin tonight.
Riley,
he's hunting for Riley.
Coming.
They get trapped behind. Riley and Trevor get trapped behind a little fence, the gate to get into the mansion. Trevor tries to get his hand on the Cenobite's forehead. Obviously, he gets his arm absolutely chomped.
Yeah, well, you see these white, pearly whites just coming.
I'll tell you what.
What?
The dental plan in hell must be just insane. Because that guy, blacklist.
Their bones are great because their flesh is always being torn apart. So
yeah,
their bones
no issues with that. No issues with that. Riley does a really smart thing though and stabs the box into the Cenobiter.
Never before done, I think, right?
This was a new one, and I loved it because the Cenobite's like, well, this is it for me. Walks back, gets chained, ripped apart, totally eviscerated. And they're like, oh my god, that worked. Let's get the fuck out of here.
It would be funny if he stopped chattering. Well,
oh no.
This is my final act. Yep. So that was awesome. I thought that was really cool.
Smart move. Riley runs into the mansion with everyone in it, shuts the gate so they can't come in. That's thinking. But at this point, Trevor's effed. All effed up. Real in danger. Colin's a little worse for wear. Riley's bleeding from the hand. And then, kind of while Riley and Colin try to figure things out, in a different room, we learn that
Trevor sneaks away, right?
Trevor's on the couch.
Oh, couch.
So Colin and Riley leave the room, and while Trevor's on the couch, Voight shows up and was like, "Hey, mother, what's going on? Was like, you said that you were doing this," and
Voight was the hunchback man that was chasing Nora.
He was the hunchback guy. He was one that killed Nora. He's in the house still with this crazy like copper mechanism that's like
cogs
right through his sternum. Yeah. It almost looks like a gun.
Oh yeah. Some steampunky sort of device akin to the puzzle.
Yes.
And you see his back too. It's so cool. It's like this.
It's so cool. Dude.
It's like this metal wired contraption that is sort of a clock that's constantly ticking and messing with his spinal cord nervage.
Yes, because you learn that night when he prayed to Leviathan, the god of the box, basically, he chose sensation, which I'm going to go ahead and say, it is like, what a pompous, like, big-headed thing to say. I have felt all the sensations that our world could possibly provide. Like, dog, that is the dumbest thing I've ever heard anyone say. So you thought that you were so sure that you've lived through every experience and sensation that the world could give, that your thought process was like, better sacrifice some teens to a god to learn more sensations. I feel like you could have just had a kid. Maybe get a dog.
Learn a new language.
Yeah, learn a new language. Like you're telling me you've had all the sensations? You're a liar.
So yeah, he's regretting his decision right now. He's like, Trevor, what are you doing? You need to get them stabbed, and I need to get the audience with the god again.
And Trevor's just like, hey man, I know that we're kind of off track a little bit, but like everything is kind of going as planned still. We are almost to the final configuration. The box is here, the missteps in the distance.
Trevor's a people pleaser because on one hand, this whole time you think that he's been regretting effing over Riley and all these people.
I will say, I wonder if like the whole Trevor being a double agent thing was written in from the beginning, because a lot of the things that he was doing, the whole like, oh, he's actually evil the entire time, I kind of raised my eyebrow at it because I was like, he was so dedicated to getting Riley just out of the situation 100%. Like, at so many points, he tried to take the box away from her. Tell her to not go forward with this, to stop her. Like, the idea that he was, like, always trying to lead Riley down this path seemed kind of a little, like,
I guess he was just on the verge of just, like, feeling bad enough to where he couldn't do it anymore. And he was just like, listen, I was supposed to take you to this place and do this, but he never did.
Like, was he like a mastermind who was like egging on this addict and like to try and like get her to do this, or was it like a situation where Riley got the box and shit just went so fucking downhill so fast that like by the time,
like, he didn't want to say that he was responsible for all this stuff happened, but he also didn't want her to do it at the same time. Yeah,
trying to get her out of this, like get the box into Voight's hands so like we can start doing it, but like keep her separate. But like she was putting herself too deep into it. I don't know. But
yeah, we find out Trevor's a bad boy.
Yeah, but they have a plan. They decide to try and lure in a Cenobite. They bring in Big Wheezy. The asphyxiator or something, I think his name is, who like they get him inside by using these gates. The asphyxiator turns like into like a super speeder, and chases Riley down. They trap him like in by the neck in like a gate, but Riley doesn't have the box. Colin goes in to get the box, but it was gone. It was taken by our boy, our evil gun-chested man, and he stabs Colin, marking him for the next pain train, you might say.
And that's where that was good, man. That was good. That was good, dude.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, so he goes to the red room, the passion room, apparently. I don't know what this room was used for. Probably lots of sex.
Orgy, for sure.
Yeah, he's freaking out. And the Cenobite, I forget what her called, but her throat's agaped.
Yeah, also a good thing to mention is that he did order Trevor to open up the gate and let all the Cenobites in. Because obviously he's trying to make a deal to get this thing out of his chest.
So he gets basically wired. And explaining these deaths are just like, it's just a death from being a Cenobite. It's gruesome and deadly. His skin is starting to get peeled off from the wires.
He's getting wired. It's pretty. Colin's getting wired. It's pretty nuts. But Riley comes in like, hey, I didn't mark him. You guys said it was people that I mark. I did not mark him. Trevor's like, Riley, what are you doing? And I'm thinking to myself, Trevor, what are you doing? You gotta go, bro. Like, what are you standing here for? Because obviously Riley turns around, stabs Trevor with the final configuration. And during this moment, Voight's like summoning a god down, be like, get this fucking thing out of me! Because in the beginning he was like, oh, Leviathan, I behest you, come to me and do this. And the second time he does this, he's like, get your ass down here and fix me! Fix me!
Yeah. It's funny, that's what the glass ceiling was all about. I guess he knew. It's weird. I don't know what it was.
I think the glass thing was just like a cool way to like show what was happening.
Yeah,
but
because
like,
the sky is literally opening up,
and like a gigantic like pyramid is coming. It's super freaking cool.
Yeah. So I guess the god is just like some more structure.
Yeah.
Like a structure of a being. I don't know.
And like the priest Pinhead is kind of like talking with her like, why would no one has ever tried to go back on what we've given them? Sure.
Yeah, buddy.
Sure.
I'm sure the line is out the window.
I'm sure everyone's just super satisfied with your customer service.
Wow, this is so surprising. You didn't like our gift? I mean, you had the receipt, right? Yeah.
And while that happened, Riley stabbed Trevor. Trevor became the new sacrifice. And they continued with the whole wire thing. That's when Trevor had like his elbow was like getting skinned off. Yeah. It was super nasty. I loved it. Yeah, it looked so good.
Grody.
And then they snatched him through like this open hole in the ground faster than a Black Friday deal in 2008. It was gone. I was like, whoa, he's out here. And then the lady that killed him was like, see you later. And just started like walking away. Like, yeah.
Up to this point, you've seen like 5 different kind of Cenobites, maybe.
Yeah, there's
the cool ones. We'll talk about them, but man, there's one really cool one that I like.
Yeah, we'll talk about them after the fact because we need to talk about the Cenobites.
Yeah. So Voight continues, and the priestess just continues as like, I don't want this anymore, and he starts to complain. It's like you got to choose one of them, like kind of like what you're explaining to me right now.
Yeah, he's like, you seem like you're more interested in power, not sensation, and he's like, I don't care. Just take this away, which, dude,
it's just stupid.
Whip. Gotta think about what you're doing. You know it's a monkey paw situation. You know this is gonna be bad. You need to be careful. He wasn't.
Yeah.
But they did have a super cool scene of his wounds healing. Mm-hmm. That was super cool.
All the cogs and gears are just falling out of him,
and then you see like his flesh reforming. It was a real cool callback to the first movie.
Yeah, this is the last moment of his humanity, basically, just being intact.
And then just a gigantic hook out of the sky. That was like, it's like a hook that would like hold like gigantic carrier ships.
Yeah. I was going to say it's like whatever those are called. They get lowered.
Got him and was like, yeet! Just took his ass out of
it just starts getting pulled up like claw machine, like from Toy Story, one of the aliens.
Yeah.
And it just starts getting pulled up to the ceiling, and he's just like, well, I mean, you deserved it, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, you don't feel bad for him. He was kind of a bad guy.
He's about to receive some awesome gift, man. Good luck with that.
Yeah, power. And Riley comes in and was basically like, hey, I don't want anything. Originally she was trying to resurrect her brother Matt. But she was like, I get it. we're good. And they're like, oh.
And then we see Matt, though. You know?
Yeah, Matt, because like the entire time, they're trying to keep pushing Riley to try and do this. They're playing on her emotions.
Yeah, we see weird Matt that apparently is the same, but his backside is completely, his skin's just ripped off, just muscle tissue.
Yeah, and they're like, oh, you choose the lament configuration. Which lament is like the no thank you choice. Like,
I know. The Cenobite background just like, boring!
Lame! Are you sure you don't want love?
Or do you
I'm
want...
free!
Are you sure you don't want Thicky? You don't want Priest Thicky? She could drop it low for you.
I would never want the priestess to drop it low for me. That'd be terrifying.
You don't want her just flexing one of her butt cheeks like each, like going do.
First off, she probably doesn't even have them anymore.
You don't think though? They're
no.
assless.
Assless. Her and Colin walk away. They get out of there. Colin's like, "What just happened?" And ends with Riley's like, "I made a choice." And Colin's like, "It was the right choice." They drive away.
Wait, Colin didn't get killed? I remember.
Colin lived.
I forgot. I thought he was in the process of dying. He just got wired just to be.
They didn't have that in the reaction video you watched?
No, I guess not.
So they drive away. He lives, which I was super excited about.
Colin. Yeah, you were Team Colin.
Team Colin. And then you see like they basically turn Voight to, his first name was Roland Voight, because of the name they're like, Roland, it's time, and like he's like all like bald head and paled, and he's like they're like putting needles in and like peeling the skin off his face, and then he's like on the Jesus Christ like cross fading away. They turned him into the Senna Christ.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
It was really cool, dude. It was super cool. I liked
because
it.
It was like he was floating. It was all stigmata-y. Yeah, like his skin was like almost in real time, stop motion, getting peeled away. His cheek got healed. Really cool design for this thing. He got like pins in his neck area,
all the way down, and like more like things just getting peeled off of his chest.
And he closed his eyes. It was like, oh shit! And then he reopened them, and then it was like Cenobite contacts, like where it's all black and blue.
Yeah, dude.
And
so
he's seeing the whatever it is. I think they showed it for a second. It's just literally whiteness, white sky.
Yeah, they kind of, the movie ends with like this white vision, and like you don't really know what it is or what it.
It's a perfect meme template.
It's
just like seeing that where it's like he's seeing something that's reacting to that, and then you just show what he's actually looking at. Just so stupid. It's a perfect meme template. You need to use it.
It was a cool ending. I think it was so. It's just. It was just like a really like dramatic way to end the movie. Like my wife was watching with me, she's like, "That's disturbing," and I'm like, "Yeah, okay, killer."
Yeah, she watches killer documentaries all the time.
She lives off of. But Michael, what's up with the Cenobites, dude? We gotta talk about the Cenobites.
My boy, my favorite Cenobite design I think ever in all the movies was his name was played by. So the Chatterer was played by Jason Lyles. Mm-hmm. He was really cool. I mean, he's an old design. The Weeper, which was I don't know which the Weeper was. Was it the one that was wheezing?
The Weeper was the all black one that like her hands like split apart.
Are you sure that was her?
I think so.
Okay, I thought it might.
Because I know the Gasp is the woman with her throat like wide open.
Yeah, that's the Gasp.
And then the Asphyx has got to be the Weezer.
Yeah, you're right then. You're right. What's this one?
There's
the mask.
That's the mask. That's one.
Oh,
it literally. That one was I actually like the design of that one a lot. You like what he's like. You only see him for a couple scenes, but he's got like. Essentially, the only way to describe it is that where his head should start, it's just like this thin piece of like skin, and it's like spread out, kind of like that one character from Doctor Who was just like a big piece of skin.
I know
just raging.
Yeah. So the first couple seasons.
Raging jerk.
So yeah, my favorite one was the Weeper then.
Yes,
so cool.
So cool design.
She looked like have you ever seen Shape of Water?
Yeah.
It's kind of like amphibious creature kind of thing where she's giving me alien bug eyes.
She looked like something you would see 10,000 Leagues Under the Sea.
Yeah, like if you were just down there and you just like shine a light in the blackness of the sea, you just see that thing just like chilling.
Yeah. There was
like terrifying.
There's one on IMDb that I don't remember seeing in the movie at all called The Mother. Maybe I missed it, whatever, but I don't really have anything to say about that one. I will say the Cenobites in this remake crap on the other ones. The fact that they, as opposed, like in the original ones, they're all like decked out in leather and shit like that. Very dominatrix, like 90s dominatrix, scary. Oh, it's all evil type thing, all satanic panic type stuff.
It's more like Hot Topic scary.
Yeah.
That was weird.
Well, it was for our time, but at the time when it came out, it was like, oh, wow. The outskirts of society.
Scandalous.
But like in this one, their skin is literally their clothing.
Yeah, their skin, and sometimes they wear just wrappings. They really look like gothic.
But it's all
gothic horror.
But it's all skin. Even the wrappings that they have is just somebody's skin or their skin.
It was like black cloth or something.
That's
But
no.
the Chatterer was just covered in just like kind of like clothish.
No, rewatch it. That's just his skin, dude.
Oh,
like
skin.
it's like the whole thing is like, as opposed to putting him in clothing, they made the clothing them basically, and they tailored their body skin to create more clothing. Like the priestess is walking around, and like it's the design of them is just, I cannot understand how much I loved the design of all of the Cenobites and the way, the direction that they went with it.
Yeah, the gasp. You could stare at her throat situation for a long time, just being like,
dude, what about
what
her and her spine in the back?
Yeah, dude.
Nuts.
So I think what it is, all this design was very like, polished and sharp looking, and it looked so sleek, and like in a painful sleek way. Everything was like beautiful and not too over the top. You stared at it and just like, what the fuck? And it was very anatomy, like they had anatomy in mind when
it's
they
like one of those
stuff.
It's like one of those things where everyone in the team knew the assignment. They all knew what they wanted to do. They were all on the same page, and it was executed in a great way.
So
final thoughts. My only hiccup for the movie that I can say, the whole Trevor thing confused me. It seemed very kind of out there, but it didn't hinder the movie at all for me. It was like, all right, I can see where, like, I watched it twice, so I could see rewatching it twice where like the whole Trevor might have been doing things in his own way for his own reasons could be seen. It would have been nice if our main character was a little bit more likable, maybe someone you could connect with more, but I think that for the movie that they wrote, it kind of needed to be someone a little bit unlikable. So my nitpicks aren't really a negative on the movie, it's just things that I would have liked more. Absolutely go see this movie. Absolutely go watch it. Support the creators of this movie. Show your love on social media to these guys, because they took very much so a dying product, a dying license that has not seen a good movie or a movie with any care or love in it since the 80s. Maybe I don't remember the exact time frame. Maybe early 90s. And they totally revitalized it. They totally made a cool movie off of it that was stylistic. It was dark. It hit all the notes that this movie was made for. They expanded the lore. It's everything you want in a reimagining of a movie, a series like this. So I got nothing else to say to that. What about you, Michael?
Yeah, go watch it for sure. I'd say that the whole thing, so why couldn't Voight, the rich man, just give the puzzle to a bunch of homeless people in a different room? Like, hey, do you want $100? Come to this back room and figure out this puzzle piece.
I think that would be...
And then do it again.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if he didn't get what he wanted, just do it again.
Yeah, well, he needed a connection to bring him in because he couldn't do anything because he had that thing in his chest.
We'll just pay somebody to just be like, hey, offer a homeless guy $100, take him in the car and try to figure out the puzzle.
I blame Trevor for that one, because Trevor was the one who was supposed to handle the details. He's like, here's the box, take care of it. And Trevor's like, he totally botched the whole thing.
Yeah. But...
Because you are right, that would have been the easier way, for sure.
For sure, it'd be a way easier way. But... yeah, I really forgot what I was going to say about going to watch it. I had something to add to everything, but yeah, for sure, I'm not going to give a rating for it. I enjoyed it.
We'll try to stay away from numbers here a lot.
I'd say the whole thing about it's hard to write around this puzzle being so like powerful and nasty, and having just the characters being like, what's next? We need to discover where this came from. This is a constant discovery of, also this is a revitalization in the series, so to reintroduce all of the things to a new audience that might not know what Hellraiser is, you need to do it again.
They did a good job doing it without it seeming contrived.
So hopefully the second one, maybe they'll treat their audience like, oh, they're coming back from the first one. Let's spend less time trying to explain what the puzzle is, and let's spend more time explaining the Cenobites' world and dimensions and their
expanding that lore. Yeah, absolutely.
So I can't wait for whatever installment. I hope that
I so hope they continue this for sure.
Because I want to see them Cenobites back. I want my Chatterer to come back, and I want actually Roland Voigt to be like another Cenobite, and maybe replace the Chatterer if they don't bring him back. That's just this mother effer. That's cool. Maybe has more to explain.
I actually want to see the people that died in this movie come back as Cenobites.
Same character, Riley coming back. Maybe she's a little bit smarter.
Yeah, I want to see a Matt Cenobite. I want to see a Nora Cenobite. I want to see...
Dude, Matt Cenobite talking to Colin.
Yeah.
Like, Colin.
Oh my god, dude. I'd be like... That'd be great.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Do a Trevor one with all the wires and like that. Like he looks like somebody sewed him back together with all these wires that are like loose and hanging. I would.
Oh yeah, I want him wired, but he's walking. He's like crawling on the floor like a caterpillar. Like,
oh my god, give this guy a break, dude.
He's not killing anybody, but he's just there.
Yeah, they're like, man, even in life,
naked.
we are really shooting the shit on this guy.
Go see it.
Go see it. Watch it. It's a great movie.
Do it. And do all that stuff that you're about to say.
Like, comment, subscribe. We appreciate it. We love it when you guys communicate with us. It means a lot for the YouTube algorithm stuff and for us. If you don't know, me and Michael have been doing this for a couple years now. We got like 500 videos on our channel. And we go under the radar, but we do this because it's fun. And we want people to do this experience with us and all these games that we experience, all these movies we experience. We would love you guys to be here for the ride. So thanks for watching. We'll see you the next one, and hopefully you guys all have a wonderful day.
Inspirational.